Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast. Today, we will be discussing about dark family patterns, family constellations that has been keeping us from feeling more alive, more ecstasy, and how we are now shifting into this new paradigm. I'm Celinne, and I guide visionary tastemakers from the ache of hollow success into living in communion with your deeper why, where your creations become offerings of collective evolution without self-abandonment and burning yourself out. So, how are you feeling? How's your week been? I have seen all kinds of patterns this week. People that are moving through difficult things, their lives are getting reorganized. We are just here now. And thank you for showing up. Whenever we're together listening to my creations, we are creating a field of healing, almost like a containment where we can reverberate ourselves quantumly and create new architectures. So what we're doing here is really important. So let's get started on this dark family patterns. Dark family patterns, sometimes called family constellations. When I'm working with somebody, it's not just you. I see your whole field, and it's almost like this spider web. Who is around you? What are the patterns that are still linking to you? I'm all about sovereignty, expressing your fullness, your own luminosity, polishing the diamond that you are. So these invisible structures shape how love, power, safety, and belonging are arranged within your family system long before you were even born. And a lot of our patterns is held in our soma, in our epigenetics. It is often a response to trauma, loss, deprivation, secrecy, or survival patterns, pressures that were not fully processed within your family's lineage. At their core, these patterns are nervous system strategies that become relational rules, how we interact with one another. And this is where quantum resonance architecture, we unbraid and create new architecture scaffolding and create a much cleaner, healthier, more supportive of your hopes and dreams of what you really came here to manifest in this world as a person who came here to really become your highest self, your highest expression. If you are ambitious, you want to have a good life, feel pleasure, feel the deepest love, ecstasy, ease, anything that is good in life, we have to work for it. Especially if you're here, you're a tastemaker, you are the new leaders of this embodied wisdom that we all desperately need. We've been getting sharpened, we've been broken down over and over again because just like a diamond, it emerges under pressure. Even though it's been there for years and years and years, once it's ready, the brilliance just shines through. I'm here to help you polish and even shine your light so you can be undeniable. When something overwhelming happens in a family line, such as abuse, abandonment, addiction, war, poverty, early death of a family member, exile, or chronic emotional neglect, this is what adapts the system. Everyone carries too much. You could be the black sheep, you volunteered as tribute of the family, someone else probably goes numb, someone becomes the controlling one, someone disappears, someone becomes the emotional regulator for everyone else. Each person in your family constellation, these adaptations help the family survive in the short term, but when they are not resolved, they can fossilize into expectations that are passed down epigenetically. This is how we have generational trauma. I do a lot of deep excavation because if you can imagine a tree, a very strong, tall tree, no matter what the weather is like, you are so rooted deep into the ground that no matter how high you grow, you are still stable. Like, even if the hurricane comes around town, you are still intact. You are like this tall sequoia tree. When you're building your legacy, you don't just want to build a house of cards that will topple down. You grow your root system, you get refined through hardship and pressure. These dark family patterns, they are transmitted through tone, silence, emotional availability, and what is rewarded or punished in a child. patterns show up when love becomes conditional, when feeling close requires self erasure, when there are conflicts, it can feel very charged and dangerous, and the care flows in one direction. When certain emotions are not allowed or it is suppressed, they tell you to stop crying. No, you can't do that. Don't do this. Darkness here does not mean evil. It just means unexamined, unconscious, and is full of emotional charge. So, family constellations refer to how each person in the family can still unconsciously take on a role, becomes the caretaker, becomes the rebellious one, or just wants to be invisible. If you have brothers or sisters, one carries the family shame, someone might carry this hope in the family. These roles often repeat across generation, even when these external circumstances change, because the nervous system recognizes the pattern as still something familiar and therefore safe. So as we grow up in our adult life, these patterns show up as a form of repetition. You may find yourself drawn to partners who feel familiar but unavailable. You are repeating this pattern from your mom or your dad. You may feel responsible for others' emotion while neglecting your own. You're abandoning yourself. You may confuse intensity with intimacy, chemistry or chaos with aliveness, or you self sacrifice for love, codependency. You may feel guilty when you rest, or you feel anxious when you are calm. Like you have to keep doing something. You can't just sit. This can also show up as disloyalty when you choose yourself. You may overgive, underceive, freeze in conflict, or fawn to maintain harmony. There is a sense of being entangled in something larger than your personal story, this feeling that certain reactions are disproportionate. It's almost like it's automatic, and it can be ancient. You have your own personal scripts, your family scripts, and your ancestral scripts. Separating those from who you are, what is my family's, what is my ancestral's. They're not just yours, they are pattern responses that once protected the family system, and now this lives in your body as a reflex. The wounded feminine within these constellation, we often learn that receptivity is unsafe, and I'm going to focus today on the feminine distortion. We learn to stay alert, to anticipate. We're very hyper vigilant to manage this emotional weather, to equate our worth with how we are useful. Our expression has been punished, needs may have been ignored, or we don't want to bother people. As a result, love becomes something that we perform or have to earn. We have to be good. We have this template of what a good woman is, rather than something that just arrives freely. I'm just here. I am a wild woman, and I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. When we heal these patterns, it doesn't mean that we're rejecting your family or reliving every past wound. It means we are now becoming conscious of our role where we are assigned and gently stepping out of it. It means we are teaching your nervous system the original danger has passed, that it has no more emotional charge to you, that you no longer need to organize your life around old survival contracts. When someone really begins to do this work, the family system often reacts like they lose their shit. It's what happened to my own family, because these systems resist change. And if you're the one who's really persistent, your regulation, your boundaries, emotional clarity can feel very threatening to a structure that still depends on you staying predictable. So, this reaction is one of the clearest signs that a pattern is being disrupted. Now it's available in the field to go up and out. Dark family patterns are not necessarily curses, but they are unfinished stories carried forward through different bodies throughout your ancestral line, your relationships. Doesn't mean you're doomed forever. We can definitely clear that out of you, but family constellations really are the maps of how these stories were distributed throughout your family's line. If you can see them clearly, they begin to lose this hold against you, and now you have more choices to react. What was once a repetitive pattern now becomes information and data that you can use. And this is where healing actually begins. You become neutral. There is a specific gravity to a family's darkness that comes from repeating rather than just being cruel. It is a way that these silences can repeat across years when we avoid and don't address them. There's this underlying resentment that we bypass, we avoid conflict instead of being honest. The way care is offered, the way affection becomes something that we have to manage rather than something to receive. In these environments, the feminine principle will learn to bend inward on itself. We become watchful instead of receptive. We confuse how hard we can go, endurance, competence with being devoted to the family, being devoted to our cause. We confuse intensity with intimacy. I forgive myself even though they don't know how to ask for forgiveness. The nervous system doesn't really want what's healthy, it wants the familiar, that emotional gravity. Humans are very predictable. Our brain does not want new things, it wants old things that it already knows how to survive. So, someone who grew up in chaos will feel really bored when it's peaceful. Someone who was ignored as a kid will feel addicted to someone who gives them no attention or someone who takes their attention on a regular basis. If they are constantly controlled as a kid, they will end up controlling everyone else, then they will call it leadership. They're not chasing what feels good, they are chasing what feels home, even if home felt like hell. They are still chasing that home. So it feels familiar, it feels safe, it becomes attractive to them. If it is attractive, then it becomes repeated. So you end up just recycling. There are four types of patterns here, right? First is we mirror this pulse people in a way where you are how you were treated growing up. Let's say if your dad was critical, you will date someone with the same pattern. If your mom was emotionally distant, you will date someone or marry someone who is also emotionally distant or who is constantly going somewhere, traveling far, and you crave their attention because you're exactly mirroring the patterns of how your parents showed up. The next pattern is that you recreate pain for the sake of feeling of control. So this pain that you have felt, it felt very familiar. So you will choose to burn yourself out, you will choose drama, you will choose discomfort because at least now you're the one who is holding the match and who's going to lit the fire this time. The third one is that you will reverse this pattern. You become like Darth Vader. You will flip the script so you become the one who once hurt you. And if you have felt powerless, you will become the dominant one. And if you have felt invisible, you will be the loudest in the room. It's not really healing, it's just this fake placebo of feeling better. You are putting yourself in armor with a smile to make it feel like you're in control. The fourth one is you will try to complete the story. You will seek people who will resemble those who have hurt you in hopes of finishing the story. And finally, earn the love that you didn't receive. You'll tell yourself that I need to find that person so I can control the type. And it's just a trap. It's like Groundhog's Day with trauma. So ask yourself, like, what are my top 3 experiences as a kid? I give myself love and I stay neutral. Your I am statements are quite important if you can do your I am statements every day because it affirms to yourself, it affirms to your field of who you are. This is a complete deprogramming of your old code. And once we can really start recoding, it gets more fun. This is a gradual reorientation of our inner compass. So the body begins to notice Where am I still bracing automatically? This is something that I've been seeing all week, even for me. Our heart begins to recognize where it reaches for love that feels almost familiar rather than nourishing. Our mind begins to see what coping mechanisms are there that we are so used to gravitating towards that once ensured our survival, and how this is shaping longing in ways that is no longer serving our present moment of who we are becoming. So, awareness and being a neutral observer. The wounded feminine energy, this often carries extraordinary perceptiveness, attunement, and depth, because these qualities we've been trained in a hostile condition, learning to scan for danger instead of safety. This is deep in our feminine wounding, learning to give before we know how to receive. Most women have not felt deep receptivity, deep feeling of being held and seen. Everybody longs to be seen. We don't see a lot of embodied feminine, that warmth, receptive, brave, nurturing, doesn't tolerate bullshit, doesn't collapse. Healing is not about becoming softer in a naive sense, but about restoring our discernment to tenderness, compassion, allowing boundaries to coexist with more openness, allowing desire to be informed by choice rather than imprint, than enmeshment with others. I focus on feminines today because it is us who raise these men too, and who raise daughters. Distorted parental love leaves an echo that can sound like a lot of self doubt, very vindictive, attraction to unavailable people. The sense that love must be earned through adaptation. And when this is metabolized finally, something subtle shifts within your field. So, this question inside changes from how do I become what is needed to how do I remain present with what is true of who I am. We're not dismantling our past, but we are composting it. We are building a much more beautiful garden. The patterns are being broken down into information, into wisdom, into a deeper capacity to recognize what is real, deeper capacity to hold frequencies, hold light, hold more love, deep love. It is a slow and steady work because it is foundational work. It is everlasting. It will echo in all the lines before you and after you. To me, that is true legacy, breaking these very insidious patterns. It happens not just through insight of us vocalizing it, but through repeated moments of choosing ourself, safety, honesty, self trust, where we used to have this reflexive self abandonment. Just like when you do the cold plunging, you stretch how long you can stay in the water. It's the same exact thing they do in therapy. Exposure to what was once uncomfortable so that we stretch ourselves. Next thing you know, you're like, this doesn't faze me anymore. You stop lying to yourself, you stop abandoning yourself, and the poison of your past becomes the medicine. That is what alchemy is all about, turning lead into gold. Nothing about this process suggests that you're late in life or behind in life. You are arriving with precision. You're aware enough now to feel what you once had, or what you had endured unconsciously, is now the point at which love begins to reorganize itself from the inside out. So my soul decided to overcome wounded feminine patterns, discharge distorted love, bring back the Holy Family. Naturally, I would pick an architecture of family and then train to that based on the most compatible structure of my nervous system of what I came here to override. I picked a specific family system. And so when I get triggered, I observe the situation, even though it's painful, it's uncomfortable. I ask myself, what is actually happening here before I reach and smack their face? Sometimes I bet it would really feel good, but I have to restrain myself. I don't ever want to be like my parents who physically, emotionally, and psychically abused me because they thought it was discipline. We discharge the toxic, distorted light information and create a new pattern once and for all. It is deeply uncomfortable, but when this probability is available in your field, when there is a moment, a situation, you take it and not dismiss it. It is the field testing you how you will react. I know on the other side is a lot of growth and a lot more light, more luminosity, more wisdom. I process a lot like my dad, which is avoidance, and I used to run away from my problems instead of facing it head on. I train with my mom's nervous system, so this core geometry is taking many shapes. It takes so long when you're clearing deep epigenetic patterns because I know what I'm here to build. I want to build a clean system, a coherent structure, a clean architecture for my future creations. And what I'm building requires so much embodiment. It all ripples to distorted business patterns, distorted dark money habits. It is a tangled web and it all starts within ourselves. Literally, it's like you're pulling out the root. There are so many casualties. Even my cousin started getting triggered, is also healing their families too. Secrets get uncovered, nervous system defaults, hypervigilance, war patterns, scarcity, fawn, freeze, etc. It's just what my field does. And it's what probably your field does too. If you've been listening to me, if you're here to really embody your gifts, I am a mirror. You are a mirror to me too. Family, like I said, will lose their shit being around you because they are often activated when you develop internal coherence because your regulation and clarity will quietly disrupt the psychological agreements they rely on to feel stable. So, as you change the way you inhabit your body and your life, others experience this as disorientation and they will respond by intensifying familiar behaviors within themselves in an attempt to reestablish equilibrium within themselves. Like, nope, you're not getting any of my light. My boundaries are intact. You work on yourself, you take accountability. A nervous system does not easily release a pattern that is still performing a function. So, whether that function is avoiding overwhelm, preserving attachment, or maintaining a sense of safety and identity, when you begin to really live in alignment with yourself, you become a clear node. You no longer absorb, buffer, or soften the emotional distortions around you. This can feel very confronting to those who depend on external regulation because your presence reflects what they have organized their life to avoid seeing. Many families function as a shared survival system. We repeat strategies such as sacrifice, control, silence, victimhood across generations until that loop is interrupted. So when you step out of that role, the pattern will lose its carriers and the system responds by either reorganizing or tightening its grip on what is familiar. So, in some cases, family members genuinely cannot register your new perspective. Their perception of you is filtered through an old lens. They respond to an earlier version of you rather than who you are now. Their point of reference is still on the old patterns. So, communication becomes really strained because your coherence no longer fits inside their existing framework. If someone has relied on you to stabilize their sense of self, your movement towards sovereignty can initially amplify their unresolved traits, their unresolved patterns. As the external support they depend on is no longer available, their reaction is not a failure of your growth, but evidence that there is a long standing pattern that is losing its hold because they are not able to self source. I'm going to give you some boundary codes here. It's found a lot in our solar plexus, and it's one of the most annoying traits because it drains your energy. Because people in the family cannot self source their own light, so they take on somebody who has the most light. You do not give them power. You hold your ground, keep your boundaries intact, and stay in 0 point. They can learn their own lessons. They are given the option. So, in this new paradigm, it will look like sovereign based relating. We are more autonomous, clarity, and no more merging. Partnerships will either collapse or deepen based on the compatibility of your new frequency. There's going to be a whole lot of divorces, friendships that will end, businesses, contracts, all kinds of stuff because it is looking for coherence, it is looking for balance. People dropping out of their bodies and they will just log out and go back online to the next reality. We move from trading time for money into pure signal, pure coherence of how much you have worked on yourself. Businesses will change big time. We will gravitate towards softer voices, solace, rather than bravado and performance. As you complete your memory update, your base 12 system, this is a whole new way of living, a whole new operating system. Through clearing your ancestral and personal patterns, you will no longer have to labor to be seen. Instead, you will be found by opportunities that resonate with your frequency, and it will gravitate towards you. Even with my clients now, I am always surprised. Like, it is the perfect match. People that are aligned with my message, people that are aligned of who I am. It is better that you process these patterns now than cause chronic illnesses down the line. Hypertension, type 2 diabetes, CKD, thyroid issues, obesity, whatever it may be. A lot of these illnesses show up in our lives because these are unprocessed emotions, unprocessed distortions. So, whatever your bandwidth of frequency will eventually outrun your former life, making it incompatible with old environments, kind of like the iPhone getting a new iOS update. Eventually, you will need a new iPhone. The gap between who you are becoming and your current reality will close, forcing you into a new state where there is more of this emergence, the new stability, because we are now face locking, like we are solidifying this new operating system. Like, this is what 5D is about. It's regenerative and symbiotic. I give you something and you give me something in return. You will feel the energy of circulation. So, this paradigm shift will be first perceptual and somatic. Those who are in the organic architecture will source reality inside out and utilizing your inner authority, intuitive pathways, and a high tolerance for uncertainty. So, this base 12 frequency will move into ratios, rhythm, and return. And it's not going to optimize for linear growth, but more of balance, recurrence, and continuity. It's more harmonic. This is how they used to live in older societies, going from base 10 to base 12. It is a lot more supportive of this life force energy, meaning that we are arranging our actions so that the vitality increases more rather than us leaking away our energy. So, life force is being sensed as aliveness and moving through our bodies, ecosystems, culture, and time. This energy that can be nourished. So when this is truly supported, we are able to thrive more. But when this sovereignty is obstructed, the system will compensate through force, speed, or control. This is where I talk about the sovereign 1%. You align with your highest expression, your authentic power, and then you are able to access your innate intelligence sustained over time. Like, I am activating so many people's gifts now. It's really incredible to see. My clients are so fearless that they will do a whole 360 of their life. Abundance will come through those that are fearless, those who contribute without depletion, and for the ones who release these inherited identities and heal their limiting patterns. We can utilize our authority, our intuitive pathways. And so in the synthetic architecture, this will even be more pronounced, where you will see that the system is built on trauma, chronic survival, getting triggered. Individuals will double down on dogma, outsource their perception to algorithms or external authorities, and interpret all types of uncertainty as an absolute threat to them. So, survival, performance, trauma bonding, hyper instant gratification. This all involves the inorganic connection used to pacify their loneliness, the constant consumption. Capitalism is the ultimate prison. And so, in closing this, we ask ourselves, what does our body need right now to regulate your system? How are you meeting yourself? And what are some actions that can stabilize you shifting? Do you need to go for a walk? Do you need some fresh air? Do you need to meditate? I know a lot of you are going through it. I feel it. We are not bringing these old patterns with us anymore. We are offloading. We are creating a brand new world. This is our legacy of love. And if you have been listening to me for a while, we have been on a slow incline to become your highest self. I love you. I'm here for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for showing up for yourself. It feels like we have been holding our breaths for too long, and the release is on its way. All of your hard work will pay off. I promise you. And you will love this new place, this new feeling, this new operating system that we are stepping into. Make sure to share this post to friends and family that might need it. As always, there are plenty of frequencies here. Thank you for helping me continue this work. I love meeting you all, and I love getting to know you. We are nurturing a field here. We are stewards of this new earth. Thank you to my beloved patrons and subscribers for supporting this work and investing in our open source future. You are helping to keep the bridge lit for everyone. And if this vision resonates with you, if you feel called to become a steward of this open earth, I invite you to join our community. Together we can ensure that these transmissions, these library grows, and our network strengthens for everyone across the globe, and that this story finds its way to those hearts that might need it, those that are searching for it. I love you, and I will see you on our next